Right. You. Scott. Okay. So, first things first. The whole keeping everything to yourself thing and trying to just sort of suppress everything you press it, that's a man thing. That's not something that's unusual. It's not something that's specific to you. Every man on the planet does this. Okay. Some people are better at dealing with it than others. That's not a bad thing or a good thing or a, it's not a judgment on anyone. I'm effectively excuse me. I'm struggling at the moment with having a fucking cold because as you know, with children, they're horrible little germ factories, and I have two of them, and they're fucking awful. So everybody likes to tell you how wonderful it is to be a parent, and it is. It's very, very, very who am I kidding? They're horrible little germ factories. They're little biological weapons. Regardless. So listen, you're not experiencing something that is unique to you. You're experiencing something that we all feel. The despondency, the anxiety, the stress. It's not unique to you. It's just that some of us are better at handling it or dealing with it than others. Now, when I say some of us are better at handling it, in my case, I'm basically have adult ADHD, so when I start to get stressed or anxious, oftentimes I get distracted by other things. So that keeps me from being too focused on it, and that means that it doesn't ever start to really cause me a problem. It does, however, mean that I have to deal with all sorts of other problems in my life caused by the fact that I'm constantly either hyper-focused or unable to focus at all. So I have to work very hard. So when I'm talking to people, when I'm having conversations with people, I have to work incredibly hard to maintain focus on what other people are saying to me. Because otherwise, I lose track of the conversation. And it's really easy for me, and it happens all the time. So I have to find ways of resetting the conversation continuously throughout. So I ask questions about things non-stop. If you ever have a conversation with me and you hear me ask you to repeat what you just said, it's not because I didn't hear you, it's because my brain was looking at something else. And so we all have our struggles. The big problem that we have as men is that we suppress these things and we keep them to ourselves. We don't fucking talk about them, and then they become too big. They become too big for us to be able to talk about, and then they become too big for us to be able to deal with. And that's where we get into the real dark places. And there's no fucking need for that. Because if you come to me and you talk to me about your stresses and your anxieties, which by the way, you can fucking do, right? If you come to me and you talk to me about your stresses and your anxieties, I'm not going to judge you. I'm a man. If I come to you with a problem, as a man, you're hardwired to give me solutions. You're not there to judge me. That's not how your brain works. Your brain doesn't automatically go to, you're weak, I can take advantage of you. That's not how your brain works. As a man, unless we have enmity, unless I'm an enemy of yours, if I come to you with a problem, your automatic response is to try and present me with solutions. So men aren't going to judge you. Men are going to try and help you by giving you solutions. Maybe they're not the best solutions. Be careful who you bring your problems to. But they're going to listen to you, and they're going to try and present you with solutions to your issues, okay? So when you have stress and you have anxiety, go and talk to your male friends. Come and talk to me. Talk to people that you spend time with that are male. This is how you deal with things, okay? Anyway, I'll just go through this. So you've been struggling for the last 3 months with stress and anxiety. Yeah. Trying to distract yourself through work and training? No. Not happening. Okay? You're trying to distract yourself with things that are heaping more pressure on you. Your stress and your anxiety is going to be in part driven by work. Your stress and anxiety is in part driven by your perception of your body composition. So when you attack these things, yeah, it's a good thing in the sense that you're taking action, but that's not the thing that's going to drive anxiety and stress out, because you're just letting it build all week and you're feeding it. You're causing more stress, because training's a stressor, right? You're feeding the anxiety by focusing on the work that you think you need to be doing more of. It's not a bad thing to get after the work, but it is a bad thing to try and use that to distract yourself from feeling stressed and anxious. You need to address what makes you feel stressed and anxious. You need to talk to somebody, okay? Now, you're at the brick wall the weekends, you go to a dark place, and you've just been drinking to blunt everything that you're feeling, to hide away. Now listen, let me tell you a story, okay? My father was a great man. Like, he's a really, really clever guy. He was really intelligent. He completely wasted that, because when his father died, when my grandfather died, my father was 16 years old. And he had his first alcoholic beverage at my grandfather's wake. He didn't stop drinking pretty much from there. And he drank himself to death. Back in 2019, I had to go up and I spent a week in hospital watching my father slowly die. And it's not a lot of fun, let me tell you. I don't drink that much these days. It's in part because of that. You know, I don't want my son to have to do that and have to deal with that. If I'm going to die, I don't want it to be, I don't want to be lying there and thinking to myself, you know, my son is sitting there looking at me and thinking, you did this to yourself. Now don't get me wrong, I understand why my father did that, because I was 41 years old, 41. I was 41 years old when my father died. And I was 41 years old when I walked into the hospital and saw him lying in the bed, knowing full well that he's not going to recover. And that's the hardest thing I have ever had to see and deal with. Okay? The hardest. And as soon as I saw him, all of my anger towards him, because I was angry with my father for a lot of years because of the way he lived his life. Excuse me. But all my anger towards him disappeared, because I was suddenly furnished with understanding. I understood why, at 16 years old, he'd been incapable of dealing with what I was struggling to deal with at 41 years old. So, I get it. I get that, you know, sometimes it feels like the answer is to blunt everything. But realistically, you want to distract yourself? You got everything you need to distract yourself at home, man. You got a kid that you can spend time with, that you can get involved in activities with. There's nothing quite like spending time with your kids, man. My son he's 9, and the airsoft place that I go to, you have to be 12 years old. Now, the marshals, if you speak to them on the sly, they'll tell you, your son's not 9, he's 12, right? You know, they'll give you the nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But I'm a bit of a stickler for the rules and these sort of things, and I think it's a good idea to from my perspective, for my kid, because I know my kid, like, I think it's a good idea to just let him wait. He's got plenty of time for that. There's other things that we do together. Right, we play video games together. We're doing loads of 11 plus practice at present, so we've got tons of that sort of stuff going on. But you've got things like that to distract you. Things like that are going to be much, much more beneficial to distract you from the stresses that you've got going on. Because not only do they distract you from the stresses, but they remind you what your why is for doing what you're doing. Yeah? Now, this has affected your self-esteem, personal life, your self-worth. But look, you're saying that you're feeling a sense of relief that you've reached out and you got the help you needed. Cool. Speaking to people close to me is not uncommon. No, like, what am I just telling you? Like, this is normal. Like, this is normal. You just need to get better at framing things. Okay, better at framing things and better at knowing how to approach and deal with your stresses and anxieties. Okay, things are going to get better, bud. Trust me. Last week you got to the point where you just had enough. You lost interest in life. Your business is the thing you love the most. Training. But after a week of processing and evaluating, where you never want to feel like this again, lonely, sad, and lost. See, that upsets me, right? Because you have a family. You have a ton of clients. You've got a fucking awesome coach. There's no real excuse for you feeling lonely, sad, and lost. You just need to reach out. There's plenty of people that will happily give you their time. They will happily listen to your woes and will happily help you find solutions. Okay? So please don't ever let yourself get to that point again. Okay? Now, let's get past the dark and moody stuff, because it is fucking depressing for you. It's going to be depressing if you continue to focus on it. Let's focus on the positives. And I think there are some. You can go away. Anyway, as you say, it's time to move on and think there are some small wins to highlight. Yeah, let's get after it. Tracked all your calories this week. Cool. Not the greatest, but you managed to drop weight. Measurements are down. Cool. As a result of your meds, you can't drink, so you kept a clean sheet this weekend. Cool. For the first time on Sunday morning, you felt energetic. Good. Do you know how SSRIs work, right? And also, do you know how alcohol works and how it impacts serotonin levels? And SSRIs are there to help bring up your serotonin levels, because the serotonin, they're basically there to help you reuptake serotonin. Okay, so it's preventing you from effectively metabolizing out serotonin that you've already had go through your system. So it's letting you reuptake it to kind of increase the amount of serotonin floating around for your brain. Now the problem is alcohol depletes serotonin. So you probably find that just not drinking, full stop, will have that kind of effect. Okay? And if you do this for, however many months and chill, when you come back off, if you just cut the booze, you're going to feel great. Now, what will happen is, you'll have some drinks. It's going to happen, right? Because unless you go teetotal and you become an Alcoholics Anonymous type, which, by the way, my mother is, my father never made it to that point. Okay? My mother goes to Alcoholics Anonymous. And she's all self-righteous about alcohol now, so. But when you have a drink, and being someone who has pretty much stopped drinking these days and only drinks occasionally, very occasionally, when I have a drink, I wake up the next day feeling, for no reason whatsoever, anxiety and depression. Like it's dark. And I'm talking like 4 or 5 drinks, I'm waking up feeling like the world is ending. Okay? So you'll be very surprised when you actually do eventually have another drink and you come off these meds, how much of a difference that makes. Okay? So, moving on. Book 3 consultations in, hit all your workouts, get in. One of your clients let you drive his new Porsche Taycan Turbo S. Great experience considering you don't have a driving license. Neither do I. Yeah, I'm going to fucking take care of that, because I've got a BMW 3 Series M Sport sitting outside, the hybrid version, so it's rapid. I don't have a UK license. I've had a license. I held a driving license in the United States and I held a driving license in New Zealand, both of which were tied to visas I had, so I didn't get to come back with them and get to claim the international license. So I can drive. and I'm going to take a test this year. I'm just going to take care of it and get it done. Make that one of your things that you're going to do, okay? Even though you're mentally not 100%, you still managed to walk away this week with some small achievements. Good. Also, your son wants to do airsoft. Yeah, buddy. How old is he? Is he 12? Or is he almost 12? Is he, I can pretend he's 12? Excuse me. Because, yeah, I would absolutely be up for playing some airsoft with you. The place I go to it is in Charlton. It is an indoor site. I am playing on the 16th. I will send you a link if you want to book in for the 16th of April. Come along, man. Have some fun. It's I think that's a Sunday morning, so it's like you'd have to be there at 8:30 a.m. It's not that difficult to get to Charlton from Woolwich. It's pretty easy, and it's pretty pretty easy to make it from. If you get to Woolwich, man, I'll pick you up on the way through. But yeah, I'll send you a link. Book yourself in. Come and fucking play. Even if your son's not old enough and you want to just come and give it a crack yourself, so you can go back and tell him how cool it is, and show him some pictures of you with a gun. Then by all means, you'll be able to rent them on site. It's I've got my own. Obviously, but they are, when you come to the place, you can do it as a rental. The equipment they've got is not bad, it's pretty decent. It'll cost you for the 3 hours plus the rental gun and unlimited ammunition. It'll cost you £50. Okay, so if there's two of you, it's costing you £100 for that session. But it's a hell of a lot of fun, and it's a hell of a lot of activity. You'll enjoy it. So the rental stuff, you'll get coveralls, you'll get full face protection with a visor so that you're completely protected from the BBs because they are travelling, and you'll get a rental gun with unlimited ammunition, so always worthwhile. Now, yeah, free on Wednesdays, come up and train. Yeah, we'll get a training session booked in as well. You just come up to the gym and I'll take you through a session. You just come up to the studio, I'll take you through a session, we'll smash you up. I'll send you some times and we'll just figure that out, yeah? Don't be sorry, Scott, but don't make the same mistakes, just fucking reach out and talk. There's plenty of people in your life that you can talk to, myself included, right? So just don't wait, reach out. Okay, simple as that. Now, let's get into the check-in form. 171 on the carbs, so on the proteins, so they're spot on. 59 on the fats, so again, pretty much spot on. And 137 on the carbs, which is been pretty much bang on the mark. No issues. Step count at 14,775. Body weight 86.2, so based on last week, 86.6, down by half, 400 grams. Measurements wise, down by half centimetre on the waist. That's the only one I'm going to bother looking at. That's the important one from now. That's quite good. I'm going to take that. Now, SSRIs. They're an interesting one. My sister, she takes anti-anxiety meds. She takes SSRIs. There are a bunch of side effects that are nothing to do with weight loss or fat loss, so don't be surprised if you get some interesting side effects from it. But the weight gain or problems with weight loss or fat loss that accompany these things are conditional. You might get weight loss because you might have your appetite increase. You might get weight loss because your appetite decreases. I would expect you to get weight loss because your appetite decreases because you've got a target to hit. Same goes for weight gain. You've got a target to hit. As long as you're hitting your macros, it's not going to make a damn bit of difference. It's not going to cause you too many problems. I do remember reading some notes or studies that it had a it had a positive impact on carbohydrate metabolism, but I've also seen studies where it shows the opposite. So I honestly, excuse me, I honestly think it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. If you stick to your macros, I don't think you're going to run into too many problems. Okay? Now, I'm not going to change anything this week. I'm going to leave it as is. Okay? Because I expect that if you get after it, you take care of your step count, you get your workouts in, and you hit your targets, that we should see some progress. Especially if we're not boozing. Because that is your Achilles heel, bud. The alcohol is not your friend. And it never fucking has been. Never. Okay? Some of us are just built that way, bud. I know that I don't have an addictive personality. I don't have any issues with that. So, and I don't know why, because both my parents were alcoholics and I've got lots of addictive personalities in my family. I think that my ADHD actually, because I never went through the phase of being medicated, I just learned to deal with it. You see, I just want to quickly explain, right? I was never diagnosed with ADHD as a child. And as a result, I was never medicated, which meant I didn't learn to rely on medication to normalise me. So therefore, I just learned to deal with shit on my own. And because I'm actually very intelligent, I got away with having ADHD by just being fucking smarter than everybody else in the class. So I got away with it because I didn't really need to pay attention as much as everybody else did. I picked up on the core ideas very quickly and was able to just go, right, okay, I know how to do that. And so I got away with, not being able to pay attention because I just needed to pay attention for a few minutes and then I could take care of business. So I never got to the point where I was medicated, and as a result of that, I never felt the need to try and medicate. Do you know what I mean? So where my parents both felt the need to try and blunt things and to kind of remove themselves from problem areas by effectively drinking away from it. I've never really had a personality that requires that searches for that. So I can drink quite regularly and never have to worry about alcoholism as such. But I'm just not interested in drinking. I never really have been a big drinker. I've had periods in my life where I've partied a lot, and I've been a real animal. And trust me, you won't meet too many people that can drink the way I can and continue to function. But it's one of those things where it's just kind of, it's not that interesting for me. Like I need something a bit more interesting to keep me going back, and it's just not that. So I don't drink anywhere near as much as I used to, and I certainly don't drink these days to get drunk. When I do drink, it's because I have very expensive taste in whiskey, and I like to sit and just enjoy one glass, and I will sit and savour it. Or I'll like to just sit and enjoy a glass of wine. I'm not interested in the follow-up. I think that too many of us allow alcohol to become a crutch and something that we lean on when we're struggling, instead of reaching out and speaking to people. You've got the option. You can reach out anytime you want to and speak to me. Pick the phone up, drop me a WhatsApp. If you need to talk, just say, like, any chance we can jump on a call. I'm struggling. Yeah, I'll talk to you. Anytime you need. I know, you're paying for an online coach, right? My job is to try and get you in shape. Like, I'm going to do that regardless. But as a human being, if you reach out and you ask me for help, my instant reaction is, to put my hand out and say, okay, let's fucking go, bud. And that's not going to change. So, anytime you need me, bud, just reach out and ask for help. Any questions, any problems, any issues, you know the drill. Drop me a WhatsApp.